So we're going to start, like I said, this is going to be Who Jam's ranked replay. So I need to pop up the replay render, change that over to Lenin. And I need to also put up the build viewer. There it is. Okay. So, and Zelda, by the way, hello. I'm going to go ahead and shout you out in just a moment. Fake Nelson game. What do you mean? You mean better Nelson, don't you? Because, oh my God, do I not like the Nelson. Sorry for all of you Nelson enjoyers. I just don't like it. But I love the Lenin. And what's the difference? Armor scheme. Lenin's tier 8. And at tier 8, she brings with her some nice 16-inch 406mm guns. And she's got a good amount of side armor. She's very tanky. Beyond that, there's not much else to mention about Lenin. Have I forgotten anything, guys? Grunty, Big O, Rob?
She's broken. Removed from sale for a reason.
Well, here's the funny thing about Lenin. A lot of people don't know how to play her. And what I mean by that is, I just talked about she's got good, strong side armor, but a lot of people show broadside in the Lenin and get smacked. We saw this especially in Clash of the Classes, where myself and Game Prodigy and others were like, guys, please just stop playing Lenin, all right? You're embarrassing yourselves. Stop. And it's not meant as a critique of the player so much as in that particular tournament, you've only got 4 or 5, I can't remember the exact number, battleships, and as a result, they're going to be all like on all kinds of flanks. Lenin is best when both of its sides are protected. So if you go into like a channel, like Two Brothers down that channel, that's an extreme example. But if you go someplace where both of your flanks are protected, you're in a really good spot. Or if you have to go, and you can't protect both flanks, you want to protect one of the flanks. That's really important on this ship. So we'll try to highlight what Hujam does right and wrong. This is a ranked game. He says he's using Opizov. Why wouldn't you? It's a premium ship, so you can put any captain you want on. So there's Khrushchev. You can YOLO down the Two Brothers channel, Zelda. I do that all the time, much to Grunty's chagrin. But what I like to do is I get down the channel, I get myself noticed, okay? Just noticed. And then what you do is you start backing up. And you go back up the channel. And what you're doing is you are playing bait. You are trying to bait the enemy team into completely ignoring what they wanted to do and to play your game. If you think about it, if 2, 3, 4 ships all leave whatever flank they're on and come to the middle of Two Brothers and start chasing you up the channel, you just pulled them out of the game. And it's really hard to kill you in the channel in the Lenin, unless you let something YOLO torp you. Anyway, let's talk about the build for Hujam. Yeah, exactly. Nelson can't do that because it's got weaker armor and it even gets set it up from the bow. Anyway, Lenin build. Main armaments mod 1, damage control system, aiming systems, damage control 2, concealment. Pretty much everything you would want to take in a Lenin. Makes perfect sense. You want to burn and flood less, you want to be able to be more accurate with your guns, and, concealment and main battery is pretty self-explanatory. I'm missing anything, else?
You see a lot of Bowen in that ship. There is a good argument to be made on it for prop mod, to be honest. To stop and go dodge and stuff like this.
Okay.
But the damage con is fine.
So what Grunty is saying is when you do propulsion mod here, if you are from stop to reverse, you get a little bit of a bonus, and if you're stop to forward, you get a bonus as well in your maneuverability and your speed. Okay, so you're juking forward and backward, not side to side, but forward and backward in the ship. This is kind of an advanced technique, I suppose. If you find yourself burning down a lot in battleships, then frankly, damage control is probably the way to go. But if you find yourself in situations more where you're trying to dodge especially random battles and like Yamato shells and other tier 10 like super battleship whatevers, propulsion, I could see the argument for that. But I think most people, it's just going to be damage con.
Yeah, but both are fine. Definitely.
Yep. All it takes is one Duncan, the V25 of tier 9. That's true. The Duncan is fun. All right, so going into our captain build, we've got Kuznetsov here, and this looks to me like your standard tanky battleship build with gun feeder, grease the gears, adrenaline rush, you know, concealment, fire reduction, heal booster, and then improved repair party readiness, which we talked about before. Could be a noob trap because it really only helps you once you get 2 million potential damage. You get 1 extra charge of repair party. Obviously, you also get slight increase in when repair party is available again in the future. Yes, Grunty?
I assume this is a Kremlin or Ushakov captain and not specific for a Lenin.
You're turning to prop mod for the shelf yourself food jam. Okay. Go ahead. Why?
Because as you said, I'd probably not take improved repair party readiness for the Lenin at tier 8.
Mm-hmm. Especially in a ranked game.
It's too hard.
Especially if it's in a ranked game.
Yeah.
Hujam says it is a Kremlin captain. So if you're thinking of this for a lower tier ship, then I would take basics of survivability probably instead of improved repair party readiness. This helps you just burn and flood less, which, you know, synergizes well with damage control and just basically makes you even tankier. I think most players, basics is probably the better choice. We did a long Zach chat about this, so I don't want to go into too much on that. But
for lower tiers, for sure. I think on the Kremlin, the 2 million is reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
And especially if you take the damage control mod on the Kremlin too, and you already have that, plus the flag, the basics loses a little bit of value. So for Kremlin, I think the emergency repair expert makes total sense.
Mm-hmm.
What I don't like is the gun feeder. Like, Russian battleships really don't shoot HE. Like,
so
you're pretty much never switching.
I wanted to talk about these first 2 points. So I was going to mention that too with gun feeder. You could take consumables enhancements instead. What does that help? Only helps your plane, so it's probably not that useful for you. So maybe emergency repair specialist to be able to heal and DCP a little bit quicker, which comes in handy with the Kremlin too, because it's got the quick return or whatever on those. Or preventative maintenance to keep your anti-air and secondary battery up and running.
Kremlin AA dies so easily. I would be leaning towards preventive maintenance there, to be honest.
Yeah. Frankly, I think it comes down to what do you care more about? Do you care more about being able to possibly shoot down planes? I say possibly because we all know what that's like. Or do you care more about not burning and flooding as much and being more tanky? It's all up to the player to decide. 2-point skill. Grease the gears makes sense on the Soviet battleships, especially Kremlin, because it's got pretty quick turret traverse anyways. I always talk about how I'm a priority target enjoyer. So for me, this is where I would put my point instead. Frankly, like I said, I'm not going to depend on IRR much. So I might do something like this and pick up this and go to this. I might do something like that, for example. But that's what I'm at, and that's you know what I like. And Hujam says for tier 8 ranked, he would switch it for the 2-point. Yeah, I could see this too for ranked especially.
The Russian battleship turret traverse is quite good. Like, you can get away with just not having the grease the gears at all.
You can. I find that the Soviet battleships, especially because you play such a static game, they are very susceptible to YOLO rushes from Paulo Emilios, Klebers, subs. And so the ability to turn your turrets quickly, I've actually seen that be decisive in a lot of engagements, a lot more than I would normally expect. So I think there's a decent argument for keeping grease the gears. But I understand what you're saying too. It really, again, comes down to how you play it.
Fire and shoot, right? Like, your turret traverse is actually quicker than your reload, so you do have the time between your shots if you pay attention to turn your turrets accordingly, and you kind of don't need it. But yeah, it can be handy in some clutch situations, of course.
Yes,
But
especially
it's not
jousting.
like you need it like on a Yamato or so to even get your guns on target.
Yeah, but that's but Yamato's a very different ship, right? It usually
Yeah.
plays farther back. A Yamato doesn't like, you typically doesn't like being butted up to an island because it's very easy to be rushed. So, you know, again, it comes down to how you play it and how it works. You will see in the replay where turret traversal is helpful. Ooh, no spoilers, Ujam. By the way, do you die? Let's move on from
Turret traverse
there.
on the Lenin, by the way, is even better. I think with the grease the gears right now, you have like 25 seconds or something. Like that's really really good for
25.
battleship.
25.
It's amazingly good.
Signal flags. Now, Hujam is not running protection. Look at this. He does not have the death flag. Instead, he's just got fire extinguishing, heal, and speed. My guess is he's trying to conserve flags. It's ranked, and frankly, if you're in no rush at all to get to gold, and I think gold is tier 10 this season, isn't it? So, yeah, I don't care if I detonate or not. Your teammates probably do, but you know, hey, you know, it's just on you. You're already in gold. Oh, is gold tier 8? I didn't realize that. I knew bronze is 6. It is tier 10. Okay, so you've already passed into gold from this replay. Got it. What were you saying, Grunty?
No, I was just saying I know silver is tier 8. I thought gold was 10 too.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into the replay. Lenin is your push ship, so this is what you use if you want to get done with ranked. Yeah. It's good to have ships like that you can identify as a ship that you want to get out of, you know, you're going to use to take you out of ranked. For me, it would be the Kyiv at tier 8, but you guys know me in Kyiv.
Oh look, all the land is in Massachusetts as battleships. I'm so surprised.
See, this is loop. So yeah, let's take a look at the lineup. You've got a Massachusetts and a Lenin, so there's just 2 battleships on your team. You've got 2 cruisers, Talon and Congress, so both of them bring radar. And you've got 2 Kageros, which, okay, if they can get on the flanks and stuff, they can make things bad. The enemy, you've got 2 Lenins that you're facing. So you cannot, I mean, you can't give these guys side. Edinburgh's your food. Charles Martel can be a problem if he's able to fire at you from long range and, you know, scooty scoot. He's got the spaced armor that makes it difficult to take citadels if he angles properly from your 406s. I've done that in ranked with Charles. It is hilarious and fun and dirty. And then you've got an enemy Kagero and an enemy Le Terrible. Notice how one of your Kags is running torp reload and the other is running smoke. We obviously don't know what the enemy Kagero is using.
The good thing here for the Lenin is like, you have the deck armor too, right? If you just sit there bow on, neither of those ships will do a lot of damage to you. They can basically only, like, the Charles Martel can burn you and both cruisers can hit your superstructure, but that's about it. They won't pen your deck.
And it's one of the nice things about the Soviet battleships is there's not much superstructure to hit. So, you know, that's a fun feature. Taking a look at your...
Charles can pen the bow with the 32 millimeters, but...
Yeah. Looking at your deployment... Oh, Edinburgh, just when you're about to shoot. No, you fired. I don't like that your Massa is coming this way too. But we'll see what happens. Now
I
you're...
almost like that shot on the Lenin better.
Yeah,
you're turned anyway.
You're keeping yourself zoomed out. You see the Lenin just got detected, so I know your eyes are looking at the one on the right to see if he's shooting at you. He just fired at somebody else. I think I just caught my glitch. No. Okay. I think it's a problem with my monitor then. Huh. Anyway, you found an island to butt up to. A cap is completely lost because nobody went there. That's fine, I guess. Focus on 2 caps. If your Massachusetts comes right next to you, that's going to be a problem. Oh, Kagero. Nope, never mind. If you had La Terrible, you would consider it your push ship. That's fair. If you're grinding up ships in World of Warships, guys, and you need credits, I would find a push ship that is a premium, just so that you're getting more credits while spamming games in a premium ship. Plus, you can put higher end captains on and stuff. Unlucky you took 2 torpedoes.
Yeah, I don't know why you went forward here at all.
Especially because that Kagero, I'm also concerned.
It's not just because of that, but yeah, like the deeper you go in there, the better you give the opponent angles to go at your side.
Well, sure. Also, I forgot to talk about the characteristic with the Lenin too. You have the fast damage control teams on the Lenin as well. So you have a finite number of charges on it, which is why a lot of people like to play with the module in slot 1 that improves the DCP time.
Yeah, I think that was a mistake going forward. Like, you could have totally avoided all these torpedoes by just staying in that position where you're now.
Mm-hmm. I always talk about the default decision that players make when they're not sure what to do. They go forward. Yep, they go forward. Well, here's the deal. Yeah, you absolutely have to DCP that fire. You need to, like, not be shot at for, I'd say, about 2 minutes. You're at 1.3 million potential damage, but you're almost dead.
Wait a second. Did Kuznetsov already proc?
Yes, Kuznetsov already procced.
Okay, I must have missed that.
It was while you were talking about not being forward so much. Fortunately, their Lenin took some torpedoes as well. But he killed your Kagero. RIP. Not looking good for your team.
Yeah, I don't like that. Like, you were just talking about it, right? Like, why is their Lenin pushing? There's also no need for that.
Well, here's the thing. A lot of people, when they see when they lose contact of a ship, they forget that it exists in the same spot. And so Hujam just came right out and smashed this Lenin, who completely forgot that you backed up around this island. There is an option in the map settings to show ship names and to show last known locations. You want to make sure that you have that checked. I can't see where it is right now. But you want to make sure that you have that checked so you can always know where the last ship was spotted. Hujam says it's all bad. You're at 1.4 million potential now. And actually, I wonder if in ranked, improved repair party readiness is better because there's fewer ships and therefore you get focused more. You might take more potential damage in ranked than you would in a random battle because of that. You know, if this was a random battle, you'd have a lot more people out there shooting other people too. Rip the Talon. That enemy Edinburgh's doing a really nice job. There's another heal. Might be a little early, but Congress coming around and blappity blap blap. He did get a good shot on the Lenin side, though. The problem is that this Lenin knows that all he has to do is bow into you. Now, you can try to get into the cap, stop the point gain, because as you can see, they are leading on ships and on points. Charles Martel.
Your shots had no chance here. You either have to aim for the turrets there or go for the superstructure.
Yep, slow down, by the way. Slow down here. Slow down so that you can get your turrets on target. You only got one, see? Is that going to be enough? Of course it is. Of course it's going to be enough. But that's where that turret traverse comes in handy. Also, this poor Lenin. Why? Why did he turn? What was I talking about before, right? A lot of people don't understand how to play Lenin. They understand its strengths, but they don't understand how important it is to protect that side armor. Ouch.
Was like, it must have been close to bounce angles though. I actually didn't expect that to work.
I thought it would. I thought it was going to pen. That angle looked very much like it was going to pen. The problem with if you're looking at the navigator, is that what you were looking at here?
No, I was not looking at the navigator. I was just looking at the game itself.
Because you have to keep in mind, because of that curve, right? The navigator just tells you the flat, full line of the ship, but he hit over right here, which is slightly curved in. So I think he had perfect angle to pen in.
We maybe see it in the render later. You, by the way, had a chance to shoot that Edinburgh, or was it Charles Martel earlier? So you didn't need that one clutch shot, but you were a bit tunnel visioned on that destroyer at that moment.
He was. Whole move you were going for the ram on Lenin because the game is going bad. Yeah, right. I would completely agree. Like, you set yourself up for that ram, and then that's it. But fortunately for you,
basically donated their ships there by
exactly.
Misangling or playing.
Fighter returning to ship.
Well, like the last one misangled, the first one just overpushed for no reason. So I'm punishing them for it.
Yeah, so Hujam's going for the free easy cap. It makes sense, right? You're almost on parity for points, and their Terrible and Edinburgh are both pretty far back. Now, you told the Massachusetts, don't let the Terrible rush you, and the Massachusetts is very wisely turning out. The only problem is that Terrible can still farm him down, so you need to get this cap quickly, and then you need to get back to B probably to prevent the Terrible from going into B while farming down the Massachusetts. That's what I'd be afraid of. Put down the timestamp here. It's about 34 hours.
Yeah, it's really tough. Like, if I was a Terrible here, I wouldn't even shoot my guns and try to farm it. The Terrible can stealth orb, so...
He can stealth torp, but...
enemy team, I would just going for the camp. Like, go for the C camp, and if the Massachusetts tries to defend it, you probably can kill it with the torps.
Yeah, the problem with the Massachusetts is he's not turning the way the Terrible wants him to be. Right? The Terrible needs to find a way to get the Massachusetts to chase him. But Massachusetts is wisely turning away. So I agree. If he goes into the C cap, there he goes. I mean, it's going to be very hard for the Massachusetts to turn around and try to push in anyways. Fear the Tier? Yes, it's a very good turn radius on Lenin. So, something is in C. I was just going to say, I don't think it is. I think the Terrible went to B, and I think the Edinburgh went to C. The Massachusetts going so far away that the Edinburgh can afford to do that. Yep, exactly what happened. So you've got... Here's where changing to HE could come in handy. Hujam figured it out and told his teammate.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's a Terrible, right? Saturation kicks in, so having the guaranteed overpen damage isn't the worst thing in the world either.
Yep.
But you might want to need to knock out his torp tubes.
The HE would be for the kind of the longer game, so to speak, to take down those torps. Good instincts there on making that turn. When you've been detected for a while in a battleship and you've got a strong suspicion that it's a destroyer that's detecting you, if you don't have priority target, you can't tell if they're switching from guns to torps back to guns again, which is an indicator. So the other thing you do is you say, I'm just going to sail straight and be big dumb battleship for a while until I think they've fired at me. And then I'm going to turn about 30 degrees, which is what you did. Edinburgh is in sea and smoking and shooting.
Bit of a luck there too. These tops from the terrible. He left a nice gap between his two sets.
Just missed. Just missed. But see, now this is what Terrible wants. Terrible wants Massachusetts and Hujam to be pushing into his torpedoes. And guns, frankly.
Yeah, see, I would actually turn around and start running again, because at this point you're so far ahead on points, you don't need this B cap anymore.
I would turn more north to get shots on the Edinburgh and smoke, and just keep shooting him. You get a lucky shot or so, and then boom, you know? Now you don't have to, you don't care if the Massachusetts dies all of a sudden.
I wouldn't care anyway, like, you're still taking on 2 caps, you have 170 points, like, they need to come back into B, and the Terrible didn't do it, so I think you've won at this point.
Probably, but I like to play on the idea of my teammates are going to die, and so I'm playing based on the idea that Massachusetts goes, and suddenly it's much closer.
Sure, it's closer, but you're still winning even if the Massachusetts goes.
High caliber. Caps can be taken in 30 seconds, not 60. Yeah. Edinburgh. This Edinburgh's done a really nice job this game.
Yeah, but that was a misplay here at the end, getting himself detected in the smoke.
And that seals the deal. And your Massachusetts survives. Look at you guys. You have 20k total. Which means he's on like 2,000 health. So let's take a look at the result screens. You got a double strike, a dreadnought, and a high caliber. You only did 77,000 damage. Most importantly, you didn't die when you were so close to death. And that, you should have never been in that situation, but you found a way out of it, which is, commendable. And then you took advantage of both Lenins that just kind of said, here, kill me. And then you also managed to get the Charles. Edinburgh, hey, whatever. It's the end of the game. 1.786 million potential, so you didn't quite get enough to get that extra heal off. And even if you did, that extra heal wouldn't have gotten you much anyways at that point in the game. I also didn't really feel like your expert loader was useful that game. I only saw you switch ammo choices twice technically, but I think they were both on reload, so wouldn't have mattered. Let's go back to the detailed report for a second and take a look at all the damage that you took.
Most of it was the torpedoes.
And what's the problem with torpedo damage?
Citadel damage.
Yep.
Well, can't repair a lot of that.
So, fire and flood, you can repair the most. Pen damage would be, I guess you could say, the next most repaired damage, and then torpedoes and citadels are like the worst. So you take these, and it's like, well, bye-bye hit points forever. Like, I can't heal it. So, had he not taken these, he would have been a lot healthier. Obviously, maybe felt more comfortable pushing later in the game. But it is what it is. Let's bring up the replay render and take a look.
But again, if he doesn't take the torpedoes, maybe the enemy being Lenin doesn't even push like that. Who knows?
Right. And I mean, that's the thing about these, right? There's all these different factors that play into what happens. So
Actually quite risky for your talent here to go in front of that island.
yeah, I think he wanted to get to C to radar it, and he ended up getting to C to die, because he dies pretty quick-ish in this game. He hasn't even radared once yet, by the way. I'm surprised. I would have expected him to radar as soon as he got south of, like, you know, by that second island.
Like here you pushed out too far from this island when you take the torps, and I don't understand why.
Yeah, Hujam was expecting teamwork. No, he was expecting Talon to radar. But look, the Talon hasn't once radared. And here's a good example of what I was just going to mention with what you just said, Hujam. Don't expect teamwork unless you're on voice with them, you know them and how they're going to play, or they're at least trying to communicate with you in chat. He hasn't even radared once yet. There's his radar.
I mean, here's the thing, it's a Talon radar. That's like,
and he
what,
dies.
15 seconds? Like, even if he radars that Kagero here, like, you're still taking the torps.
If he radars the Kagero, realistically speaking, one salvo, and that's it on the Kag. And yes, you're right.
The torps were already in the water by this point.
Agreed. So, very good play by the Kagero, and I guess you were very lucky the Kagero wasn't running torpedo reload booster. If he was, you might have been dead. But yeah, I mean, I don't think I saw you want to buy radar. Okay, well. See, the thing is, I was going to say, I don't really think that you communicated much with your team at all. Early on, you didn't say anything to the Massachusetts about trying to keep, you know, firing angles and stuff. I usually like to ask that, and unfortunately, a lot of people don't understand what that means. There was no talk about, hey, you know, Talon, are you going to radar at sea? You know, things that would have made you maybe feel comfortable with the decisions that you made. You played expecting teamwork, and that just didn't really happen. Still, it's a good game. I mean, it's a good example of the standard ranked experience where not dying is so crucial, and finding ways to make the game work as well.
Yeah,
kind of weird.
I don't understand, like, the disease of the like, why would you bring a smoke Kagero to the rank? Like, it doesn't make sense.
The only reason to bring smoke anything destroyer that can choose between is for carriers, right? To break that line of sight or whatever. But I agree. I mean, smoke gives you more utility, but torpedo reload booster is just so much more useful.
I mean, yeah, of course against the carriers, but why bring in the Kagero then? Like,
maybe he's grinding the ship line.
Maybe it's fair enough.
Yeah. And to a lesser extent, the same could be said for subs as well. You can use a smoke to break the you know, the spotting, sure. But whatever. All right, well, what are we going to call this replay? And Hujam, thanks for sending that one in. If you've got any other questions, feel free to ask. I think we've given you some good feedback, though.
Lenin, how to play?
How to play. %70 subs in CV games. Oh, that sounds like fun. I was gonna say staying alive, like the Bee Gees. Hold out.
Here, by the way, I think here you would have a chance to shoot over on the Charles, but you were so focused on the Kagero.
Yeah.
And then you needed that clutch shot here.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to put Staying Alive down as a working title. I have another replay on YouTube already titled that, but it's been a while, so I guess I could use it again.
Fight, Lenin, fight? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean...
No
You know-
health to spare.
Sliver of hope.
Yeah, that's a good one. Sliver of hope.
Sliver of hope.
That's actually good.
Yeah.
There we go. Let's do it. All right. And hello, Nate.
Hey, what's up?
So, chat, we're going to go into our Be Right Back screen then.